Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Dave Maslach talking to you about Reciprocity.com. The E is written with a 3. And in this particular video, I want to talk to you about how do you actually create your own performance management system. I think it's kind of an interesting topic to look into. I've been talking a lot about performance metrics in the last little bit. And I think I'm going to continue to talk about performance metrics going forward for the next little more. So what am I talking about with a performance management system? Well, this is where you identify some goals that you want to accomplish in your company. And then from there, you build the company and you build the individuals to fit and to sort of be effective with those particular goals of your business or your company. And there's lots to it, right? So there's a lot to think about with any sort of strategic performance management. So as scholars, I'm a professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship. We've been investigating this stuff probably for the last 30 years, if not more, to sort of think about how to best do this in terms of performance management and to identify performance management best practices. And again, this is only my perspective, but there's lots of other people that might have something to say as well. But I think in terms of the components of a performance management system, there's really, from what I think, there's really only sort of 4 sort of components of a performance management system, and they might differ depending on your organization and whatnot. But in general, the first one would be figuring out what your goals are and where you want to go. Now, this is often really difficult to do. We know from a lot of literature, we don't sit down and most organizations don't sit down and do these big grand meetings and stuff about where our goals are going to go and what we're going to do. You might do that once a year, maybe twice a year. If you're doing it a lot more than that, you're amazing as an organization, but most organizations don't. They just kind of do things very, very quickly and on the fly, and they might sort of have a quick discussion. But once you have this sort of idea of what this is, you should stick with these goals for a fairly long time and then identify key performance indicators. So try to think of some sort of metrics of how to meet those particular goals, right, for your organization. So for me, with Reciprocity.com, what I'm trying to do is to create as much content and sort of giving content as I possibly can. In order to get the word out with what I'm trying to do with this particular project, because I think it's really cool, because not only am I helping out sort of you, I'm also trying to help out academics and trying to help out a lot of people. So I wanted to give as much content as I possibly can, so we can actually do better science, and however that might be. So I'm producing as much content, I'm putting out videos every single day to make sure that other people know. So that's my goal right now, is to put out, to be as giving and to be as honest and forthright as I possibly can, and to be known as a professor that is doing that kind of stuff, right? So that is my goal with that. And I also want to be known as a person and creating an organization that is really, really focused on science and doing better, credible science, more valid science. So that is what my goal is. So my key performance indicator right now is looking at, number of things that I'm putting out, number of content, sort of products I'm putting out. So my goal right now is 1 a day, with these videos. The other thing that you might want to look at for you is, maybe how many subscribers you're getting. So if you have some sort of online thing, how many subscribers you're getting. If it's an in-person thing, you want to think about your goals as your organization, but then as well, maybe think about sort of things that relate to you, sort of in-person, sort of brick-and-mortar store kind of thing. That's important. The second thing is to select and retain people that sort of fit within these goals and select your organization around them, right? So this is going to be really difficult to do, and you're going to have to go through many people before you find people that really fit and resonate with what your goals are and what you're trying to do when you create your own performance management system. And this is where you are clearly thinking about what to thinking about particular individuals. Once you find those individuals, it's actually relatively easy because those people are amazing and they're going to help you out. So you have to just spend a lot of time vetting and thinking through these particular individuals of how to actually, that are going to resonate with what you're doing. So you interview them a lot. You might do sort of quick trial and error sort of things, see how they're doing. And then if they're being effective over a long time, then you can hire them on sort of full time, right? And then you might want to think about, every once in a while, do some sort of performance appraisal sort of thing and think about, just having a meeting and having an open and honest conversation with those people. And you might have to build a relationship with those people before you actually have that open and honest conversation. It takes a little bit of time. The third thing is continuously refining these goals that you have, right? So when you have an organization, the environment is constantly changing, so you have to adapt to that environment. So you have to change those goals, however that might be. So as this grows and as this gets a little bit bigger, I might not have time to do videos, for example, every single day, so I might have to change those goals to do something else. Or maybe I hire somebody else to do these particular videos, right? So you have to constantly be thinking about, how is this changing? How's your own goals changing as you grow your organization? And as you just have to constantly be thinking, it doesn't have to be on like every single week you think about what the goals are, but, maybe every 6 months or something like that, you sort of you sit down and think about what are the goals of the organization? Are we meeting these? Is this going to are these performance indicators sort of fitting well with these particular goals? And of course, this is going to change on the environment that you're in, right? And what you're doing. Sometimes things change very, very rapidly, and then you have to change much more quicker and sort of think about these. But at the same time, most organizations don't change as quickly as one would think, and so you just have to continuously refine them on a regular basis. And then the fourth thing to think about is really truly invest in your employees as much as you possibly can. So whenever something becomes profitable, or if your company is profitable currently right now, what you want to do is take some of those profits and waste them. And it's going to feel like you're wasting those profits, right? You're going to want to give it back to the owners of the company as much as you possibly can in any sort of way. Give dividends to the owners of the company. But instead of doing that, I want you to waste them on your employees. So give them time. Give them, maybe allocate some resources so they can go do whatever they want to do. This is going to feel really difficult to do, but most organizations that are very, very effective, they do this. They do some component of this, whether it's geared towards product development. Maybe you're kind of an engineering kind of company. Or maybe it's geared towards sort of giving back and charitable giving and stuff like that. Almost all companies that I've seen that are pretty effective, they do some sort of wasting, and then they also will give back and train their employees as much as possible. And the dividends of training your employees or the returns that you get from training your employees into sort of specialized things that fit your company are tremendous, right? Like, knowledge has huge, huge returns on investment. In the long run. In the short run, no, it does consume resources, but you should continuously be thinking about how you can reinvest in your employees and devoting some time to invest in your employees, whoever those are, and wherever you think about, maybe you're a sort of scientific lab, for example, and you're watching these videos. Well, you want to invest in your lab employees, right? So that's the important thing to think about. So those four things, those will get you started with your performance management system. And if you just sort of simply go through those and you quickly go through those on a fairly regular basis, right? So you think about what your goals should be and you start thinking about what your goals are. It's not really, this is not rocket science, right? And then constantly sort of, setting up your key performance indicators that match those particular goals, right? And then sort of selecting and retaining employees that sort of fit within those goals, and then continuously refining those goals over, I'm talking about years here, right? So 6 months is really short. So you're thinking over several years, you might think about refining these goals, then investing in your employees, however that might be. And think about a percentage when you're investing in your employees. I'm going to invest 10% of whatever I make or whatever we make into the employees. Whatever, you have some sort of limit like that where you're continuously investing in your employees. And what that's doing, it's not only retaining employees to ensure that you have better performance in the long run, right? But at the same time, you're investing in them and making sure that they are better employees in the long run. And it's pretty simple, but at the same time, it's pretty effective. From what I understand and what I've seen in terms of the research, those are the key things in order to develop and to grow your own performance management system. So that's all I'm going to talk about at this moment. And if you think I'm missing anything, or if you have any comments or anything like that, make sure you do leave them. I do appreciate it. So take care, have a wonderful day, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye.